Hi everyone and welcome sa isa na naman bagong episode ng Surprise Guest with Pia Arcangel. Hindi ko alam, as usual, kung sino ating makakasama ngayong araw na ito, pero sabay-sabay nating malalaman. At isa itong espesyal na surprise, I'm told, dahil bagong season na ngayon ng Surprise Guest. So, without further ado, alamin na natin kung sino ating surprise guest. Good morning!
Hello!
Hi! Rica Peralejo! Good morning!
Nakilala mo ko. Hello, Pia. Good morning sa iyo at sa lahat ng nakikinig.
Nako, Rica, good morning sa iyo and thank you for waking up so early. Sabi ko na nga ba, Mommy ang guest natin ngayon eh.
May na-feel ko ka na ba na, Mommy?
Oo, na-feel ko kasi maaga yung ating recording. Kaya
Ganun
sabi ko,
ba?
mukhang Mommy din to. Uy, good to see you. Kamusta na?
I'm good. A little bit tired because the Christmas season is like, it's so there. It's so fast.
Yes.
And every Christmas season, palagi ko na lang sinasabi sa sarili ko na this will be a calm Christmas season. I'm not going to be rushed and hurried. Pero every time sinasabi ko yon, kinakain ko rin yung salita ko by the end of it.
Hindi nagkakatotoo, no? Ako rin ganun eh. Tsaka lagi ko sinasabi, umpisa ko na maaga yung paghahanda. Pero wala. Ano na ba ngayon?
I know,
diba?
Exactly. Wala pa rin ako to this day, Christmas tree. Meron, pero wala pang lights, ganon.
Ako may ilaw, pero walang puno. Baliktad tayo. Mag-join forces na lang tayo.
At least yung kulang ko meron ka, di ba?
Oo nga. Pwede talaga tayo mag-join forces.
Yes. Ikaw na bahala doon sa mga kulang ko.
So, ikaw bahala sa puno, ako bahala sa ilaw.
Okay, yes. Okay, maganda tong delegation na nangyayari dito.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nako, ang saya naman. Nako, bibisitahin kita ha. Bisitahin mo rin ako.
Yes, oo, di ba?
Ilan ang kids mo ngayon, Rica?
I already have 2.
2 kids. And how old are the kids now?
They're 8 and 3.
Wow, naku, ang saya ng age na yun ha. Kasi yung
Yes.
8-year-old mo can help take care of the 3-year-old.
Well, my original desire was that I would have kids na magkasunod ng age. But, of course, it's not something that you can do all on your own. Having kids is not like a decision all on your own. Kung mangyayari, di ba? So, medyo malaki yung naging gap nila. So, it has its pros. It has its cons also. So, whatever God has given me, I'm happy naman.
Oo nga. And I'm sure, I mean, kung madadagdagan. Kung hindi, okay na rin, di ba? 2 kids already. At this age, ano ba yung mga activities nyo together? Kasi kung 3 years old, medyo young pa, 8 years old, grade school age na yan eh. So, ano yung similar or common activities ninyo?
Actually, yun yung medyo parang mahirap. Kasi, di ba, when they're magkasabay, it's not hard to find activities because both of them are happy. So, like, we went to Singapore and you know how Singapore has all of these theme parks. And, of course, it's like a land for kids. However, sobrang layo yung edad nila na sometimes what is applicable to the matanda, hindi na pwede dun sa bata kasi hindi pa kaya yung yung height niya, parang hindi pa pwede yun, yung age niya, parang ganon. So, yun yung mga medyo mahirap pagtagpuin. But because they're both boys, I think what's really needed from parents with small boys, no, particularly boys, is a whole lot of energy. So I think in that sense, it's kind of like easy kasi maglikot lang kayo. Masaya na sila. Ganon. So yun yung mga activities namin lately. And then of course, you always kind of like connect with them where they are. So yung, alam mo na, yung mga sa kabataan ngayon, yung mga Minecraft, mga Roblox, ganyan.
Okay.
Kinakausap ko sila about it. Then we always have family thing to watch. So whatever is on Netflix or Disney, manonood kami together paggabi.
Kasi ini-imagine ko nung nasa theme park kayo, hatakan yan eh kung saan nila gustong pumunta. So pag gano'n, hati na kayo ni Daddy.
Oo, alam mo, that's the nice thing naman about having 2, parang tigisa talaga.
1:1.
Oo, maganda rin talaga yung paghati-hati ng ating mga tasks, ganyan.
Oo, okay. So at least medyo manageable pa.
Yeah. And then also my eldest, niloloko namin na nung pinanganak siya, baka mga 62 na siya kasi matanda mag-isip. So, he really is a great help to us when it comes to having our bunso. Because the bunso is super energy ball.
Ay, bunsong-bunso.
Bunsong-bunso. Oo, correct.
What you're doing right now, kasi you're very busy with your vlog, right? And nag-aangkas ka. Umaangkas ka, di ba?
Yes! Angkas joyride. Actually, more joyride. Oo.
Ano to, mga parang spur of the moment talaga na parang kailangan mo talagang makasakay. Wala nang ibang option kundi mag-joyride or umangkas.
No, actually, this started 2019 pa. Kasi nung pinanganak ko yung anak ko na pangalawa, syempre 'di ba parang nag-a-adjust ako na dalawa na yung anak ko, tapos mas mabilis na yung buhay in that sense. Tapos pag kailangan kong lumabas, tapos ang traffic sa Manila. Ito yung nakikita kong solusyon. And then also kasi my husband got a Vespa. Also,
Okay.
it was just given to him. He actually didn't buy it. It was given to him because he was talking to a friend na sabi niya, ang hirap ng buhay namin na we live in this area, but my work is in this area. So when I get home, I barely have any time with my children na. So yon, because of that, nabigyan siya ng Vespa. And because of that Vespa, naisip ko na, you know what, this is actually very time efficient. Everything, energy efficient, ganyan. I mean like, you know, when you're a mom, even if you're not working, busy ka na
pa
nga.
rin.
O, di ba? Tapos may work ka pa. O, di doble busy ka pa. So sabi ko, alam mo na ako, napakagandang solusyon nito na hindi ako nawawala ng oras. Plus the fact na, kuripot kasi ako eh. So, hindi ko talaga ma-attempt pag sobrang mahal na yung taxi fare ko.
Oo, yung surge, di ba?
And ever since then, from 2019 hanggang today, I super love being on a motorbike. I would want to get a license for myself kasi 'di ba ibang lisensya 'yon na I could drive it on my own because I love it that much. I don't think it's just the being efficient with time, but also just the whole feels of it. Like I see my nation. Nakikita ko yung city, yung amoy ko. Amoy na amoy ko yung Maynila, yung ganun yung parang, oh, okay, nandito na tayo talaga sa may part ng Manila na to. So, ewan ko, parang medyo ganun lang kasi akong tao.
So, iba yung amoy ng Maynila sa amoy ng ibang city, ganon?
Oo, kesa ma ako nagpunta nun, basta papuntang north. Tapos sabi ko, oh my gosh, amoy na. Ano nga ba ito? Teacher's Village. Papunta ako ng Teacher's Village. Parang naaamoy ko na yung kung ano yung amoy nung nagsuschool pa ako. Ganon.
Wow. Barbecue.
Yun.
Ay, inisip ko
Yung mga-
talaga sa
oo.
Teacher's Village, barbecue.
Diba mga barbecue, mga deep fry. Ganyan.
Wow! Ang galing nun ha. Alam mo, di ba, sanay tayo, the sights and sounds of the city. Pero ngayon, dahil kay Rica Peralejo, meron na rin tayo the smells of the city.
I know. Oo, talaga. Tsaka diba sabi nga nila, memory is triggered a lot by smell.
Oo.
So kung ano yung scent ng isang bagay, parang it brings you back like memory. So yeah, I think that's part. I'm very sensorial. I like to be sensorial.
That's nice kasi parang when it comes to describing experiences, di ba? That will help you a lot, especially sa vlogs mo. Kasi parang kuwari, yung the smell of a place, hindi mo naman mapapakita sa viewers yon, pero pwede mong i-describe para sa kanila.
Yes, even as a writer, di ba? Parang that's the key, the 5 senses.
With your YouTube channel, with your vlog, how involved are you in creating the content and in shooting and in editing? Is it
Oh my
all you?
gosh.
Or meron kang mga...
I call it the Tayo Productions. yung ako lang lahat, ganyan.
And tayo, pero ako lang talaga.
Oo. Ako lang. Although I do have a small team, so I've got somebody like social media, not everything, but I ask her to help me. Like when I have things on my mind, I ask her to execute, kunwari mo, graphics, ganyan, pubmats. And then I also have editors. I've decided early on, even when I was just starting na editing is not something I'm gonna get into, even if I like doing that. And that's because it's so time consuming. And I always think na kung mawawala naman yung oras ko sa mga anak ko, wag na lang. Wag na lang nating ituloy ito. So I have an editor. Natutunan ko na rin yung content creation talaga. And now I'm very much involved. I set the direction. I usually listen to the people who watch and create from there na ano ba yung gusto nila, ano ba yung kailangan nila. And then I usually match it with what's going on in my life and then give them something that is useful, hopefully.
How long have you been doing the vlog?
I don't know. Ano ba? 3, 4? Don't know. Parang mga 5.
Sabi mo nga, diba, you're very busy. Whether there's the work that, we consider regular work na parang lumalabas ka ng bahay or nasa bahay ka lang, nag-work ka pa rin. O, ano pa yung ibang things that are keeping you busy? I know, so aside from your social media platforms, meron ka ring negosyo, diba?
Ay, yes. Oo, hindi ko nga alam ba't ko ginawa yan. Joke lang.
Nagsisi ka ba?
Yung as if I don't have enough problems in life, no? Nagnegosyo pa talaga ako. But yeah, I started this brand a few years ago. Parang the most serious that I got about it was this year. And I just really wanted to try it out. Like I have this is the most, parang the widest range of products that it's ever gotten. So, to be honest, it's been so hard for me the past few months already kasi yung pagbe-business pala will entail sleepless nights. Yung para ka palang may anak na nasa gitna ka ng, kunwari mo nakikipag-dinner ka, may isip mo, oh my gosh, baka mamaya yung stocks ganito. Biglang
Magkulang na yung stocks.
Yung parang, okay, nasan na ba yun? Parang, saan ko ba i-ship yun para ganito, ganyan. Ayan. So, I mean, like, you know how it is with having, whether it's like a big business or a small business, it's like having a child also na you have to keep it alive. You have to keep it alive no matter what. And this is like what happening through everything. My son homeschooling, me, finding out all sorts of symptoms in my body and then going for a checkup here and there. Yun.
Oh, ano yung binibenta mo?
Well, the brand is called Well and Wise. And it focuses on something that is meaningful all the time. So something for our desire to be well and our desire to be wise. So there are, like, for this Christmas, I've got shirts for kids and adults with declarative statements. So merong, for the kids, merong malakas at matapang.
Ay, ang cute!
Yung isa maliksi at, I forget. Basta yung isa maliksi. Yung isa naman malikhain. And then, I've got malikhain shirts and caps also. The caps are for the kids and then the shirt is for the parents. Or
cute.
for like, mga matatanda, ganyan. So, and I wanted to choose Tagalog talaga kasi ang ganda-ganda kasi nung language natin.
Oo.
So, that's what I did for this Christmas. Then, upcoming, I have 2 more products. Lakas ng loob no? Sabi ko, bakit ba ang dami kong pwede namang lang, pero bakit ang dami? But I'm gonna have like a planner journal and then a book that I wrote with my husband.
You wrote a book? Wow. What kind of book is this?
This is a marriage book. It's called 1111 and it comes from a vlog actually. So we did a vlog when we turned 11 years. So we're gonna be 13 na by January. Pero nung nag-11 years kami, sabi ko, halika nga, mag-vlog nga tayo tungkol sa anniversary natin. Alam mo naman, pag content creator, parang, ano bang pag-uusapan natin today? O sige, yung na lang natin, yung anniversary natin. So, 11 years kami, sabi ko, let's think of 11 words that would, kind of like, not really define, but kind of like describe what we've been through in the last 11 years. And when we came out with it, so many people loved it. Like, isa siya sa mga highest hits ng vlog ko. Sabi ko, uy, grabe, gusto pala ng mga tao to. So, eventually, we said na, why not turn it into a book? Because, a vlog is short Parang you kind of like have to shorten your thoughts. So, sabi ko, i-exhaust natin. Ano ba talaga ibig sabihin natin sa bawat word na sinabi natin doon? So, yun yung book.
Memorize mo yung 11 words? Kahit just
Yeah.
an outline.
The first is, I remember this is difference. Because we're so different. I believe that a lot of couples are, when you marry, marirealize mo na however similar or however connected you were before getting married, marirealize mo within the marriage na, sabi pala namin pagkakaiba. Sino ba tong kausap ko? Parang kahapon kilala ko siya pero anday
Ibang
pala
tao
namin.
na pala.
Oo, yung ganon. So parang, and a lot of talaga couples think that hindi yata talaga tayo dapat para sa isa't isa kasi sobra pala nating iba. Pero kasi, nagsimula yung realization namin na yung pagiging different pala is actually not a bad thing when we were with this certain pastor from our church before, parang newly married pa lang kami. Tapos parang intercultural sobra yung marriage nila. Parang magkaiba sila ng pinanggagalingan. Egyptian siya, tapos super American yung asawa niya. Tapos sabi niya sa amin, different does not mean wrong. In fact, different makes you strong. Tapos pagtingin na kami ng asawa ko na, okay, hindi pala tayo mali. Na different tayo, di ba? In fact, pag natap pala natin yung whatever it is that makes us different and we put them together, it makes a whole lot of strength for our relationship. Parang ganon. So yun, difference is one word.
Ang ganda no? It really makes the relationship stronger as long as you're able to work through your differences, di ba? Use it to your advantage.
Yes, correct. So we have, that's like the first chapter.
Wow. Paano ba kayo nagkakilala ng husband nyo?
I started going to this church and he's a part of the church. So parang ganun lang. Common friends, ganun. So nagkakilala kami. And then magkaugali kami. Marami kaming commonalities. Kaya nga siguro yung difference din is such a big part of our life as a married couple. Kasi we started by connecting on so many levels Nang pareho kami ng books na gusto, pareho kami ng subjects na gusto sa school, pati teacher na kinukuha namin sa school, gusto rin namin, pareho kami, mga ganun. Pero, yun na nga, when you get married, you're like, oops, okay, parang mas maraming pala yung differences kesa sa commonality.
Okay. Was it a traditional courtship? I mean, after nagkakilala kayo sa church, parang yun ba yung typical ligaw? Or parang friendship lang na one day you realized, let's be more than friends?
We're not, it wasn't traditional at all. When he decided to pursue me, we just dated. That's it. But it took us a very, very long time before we hopped onto the whole dating thing. Kasi alam mo na gusto ka niya. Alam ko rin na gusto ko siya. Pero parang pareho kami na, alam kasi namin na when we get on this thing, it's to be serious. Siguro
Tuloy-tuloy na.
na-feel na namin yon on our own, di ba? Without really talking to each other. Now, when we got into a relationship, that was it. I think in 10 months, nag-propose na siya.
Wow!
And then in less than a year, we were married. So it was that fast.
Oh, kasi when you know, you know.
Yeah, and I think when you're decided, you're decided. Parang, okay na to, ito na yun. It's not as if, we knew from the get-go na yung, the one na to, di ba? It's just really, there is a whole lot of potential and we've been trying to see that, really observe na ito nga ba talaga for how many years? Parang 3 years ba or 2 years na magkaibigan lang kami.
Wow. Pero 'di ba? I mean, you were in previous relationships that lasted longer than that, 'di ba? So, parang
yeah.
what made this one different?
I think it's really just, I'm decided, he's decided. And I think marriages are like that na it could have happened naman with anyone. But why this one? Kasi nagtatagpo lahat talaga sa buhay niyo. Na parang, ito yung moment na gusto ko na, siya gusto na rin niya. Kasi prior to this, I mean, may relationships ako, ganyan. Naisip ko rin naman yung marriage, pero it's either the guy doesn't see na marriage is for us yet, or that the guy would see it and then I'm like, I don't think so. So parang hindi talaga nagmi-meet yung tiyempo namin. Itang yung swak na ready na siya, ready na ako, let's go.
Malaking bagay din ba na, I mean, the role that your faith played? Because parang the way you speak, yung pagkukwento mo, parang I can tell na you're very much grounded in your faith and it plays a big role in your life.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, in my past relationships, the ones before him, hindi pa naman talaga ako, hindi ko pa kilala yung Diyos. Sa malaking bagay yon na ano yung basis ko getting married. I mean, of course, I would pray and all that. But the way I know the Lord now is so different from how I knew Him back then eh. So parang ang babaw kasi nung understanding ko na yon na it carries on to everything in my life. But when I got serious with God, I think that's also when I felt it in myself na alam mo, kaya mo magpamilya. Ganon. So I think that's partly why, or no, a large part of it is because our faith kind of like determines so many things for us, including marriage.
Can I pick up lang dun sa sinabi mo na hindi mo pa kilala yung Diyos noon? And now, syempre, I can see, yung parang your faith radiates from you. At
Naks.
parang there's really that desire to share that faith with others. Kasi diba, you also do speaking engagements to share
Yes.
your faith and your experiences.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I don't know. I think, I guess and then because you're like from that generation, mga ang TV and
Of
moving
course,
forward, diba?
sinesave ko yung topic na yun for later on.
Yeah, but I mean, like you probably would know somehow that my life wasn't really like the best kind of life. So I was badly in need of like guidance. I was so lost when I was much younger. And that's probably because nung masyado akong maaga nag-start sa buhay. Like I started working, I was only 12. What did I know back then, diba? So parang growing up in the industry got me so lost talaga. So when people started giving me the Bible and introducing me to God, sabi ko, parang nakakatulong to sa pagka-lost ko. I didn't admit it right away, but when I guess you'll know when you're by yourself, you kind of like know na there really is a big need in me, a very deep need in me. And when you meet God, that's the only time you understand na oo nga only God can address this kind of brokenness in me pala. So parang ganun yung nangyari sa akin na meron lang mga taong nag-i-introduce sa akin ng Bible, ng Diyos, nagpe-pray for me. Tapos, they also extend the love of God to me. So, doon nag-start yon. Nasabi ko, may buhay pa pala after ng kung ano yung nangyari at nagawa ko sa past ko. May buhay pa pala after that. At kaya ko palang bumangon from it. So, parang nagkaroon ako ng new energy, nagkaroon ako ng new perspective in life. So, basically, parang dati, wala na akong makita into the future until God, I mean like not that God came along because he's always been there, but until I was able to see with my own eyes that God can give me a different kind of life pala moving forward.
Because of your faith, mas madali ba ngayon na parang not so much balikan, pero I don't know, pag-usapan or ma-examine yung naging past mo?
Hi, I'm Howie Severino. My colleagues and I developed this idea of creating a podcast as a safe space for sharing insights with leaders and interesting people across diverse backgrounds. I've been a journalist for 33 years as a newspaper reporter, news anchor, online editor, and documentary maker. But podcasting is fresh territory for me. Check out the Howie Severino podcast, an original for GMA News and Public Affairs. New episodes will stream every Thursday. Listen for free on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms. Empower yourselves and be safe.
Because of your faith, mas madali ba ngayon na parang not so much balikan, pero I don't know, pag-usapan or ma-examine yung naging past mo?
Definitely. I cannot be this authentic about my past if there was no redemption to begin with. Because then, I always think nga na, oo, tao lang. But if hindi kasi tayo nagbabago at walang transformation, ang hirap pag-usapan ng isang bagay kasi nandun ka pa rin. So, pagka nagkaroon ka na ng change sa buhay, kaya mo na siyang pag-usapan eventually kasi, alam mo, past na yun eh. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect, ha? There are still so many broken parts about me. But I think that what faith does to you is that you're able to face your brokenness head on na hindi ka na nahihiya na, ay, mali-mali po ako, palya-palya po yung puso ko. I'm not perfect and there's so much to be changed about me. And when you experience that first, that first of change in your life na, ay, kaya mo palang magbago. May hope pa pala after such a dark past, diba? Na-encourage ka Na-encourage ka to just keep moving forward. And then even there are new problems that come along the way, I always call it the Red Sea. Diba? When the Israelites went through the Red Sea, I'm pretty sure, reference sila, and you'll see it in the Bible, it's always their reference. When they crossed the Red Sea, na God made them cross through the Red Sea, walls of water, without them dying. So, ganun din ako na every time nakakaraos ako sa isang problema, naiisip ko na, alam mo,
Red Sea.
bago tong problema ko, pero para ko tong Red Sea na aalalahanin ko lang na dati, nakalagpas din ako sa isang malaking problema na si Lord talaga yung nagdala sa akin doon. So, even if this looks big in front of me, I just have to remember that God was able to do it before, He can do it again.
If you don't mind my asking, Rica, what is that you're referencing to na the darkest or the lowest point in your life na parang that's when you realized na you needed more and you needed your faith? Kasi, I mean, same generation nga tayo. So, ang image ko talaga, yung naalala ko is every 4 p.m., bubbly Rica Peralejo sa Ang TV na
Yes.
parang very wholesome, happy, diba? So, I know there were issues that surrounded you, but what was it that made you really rethink everything?
Well, I think it had a big effect on me. First of all, that I had to start early in life. Like, no one should be carrying that much of a load at 12 years old. And you don't know that when you're 12. You're just like doing stuff. That's one. Second is when I turned into like a sexy star. So from wholesome image, gumawa ko ng movies where I had to bear some flesh and all that. And that takes away from the dignity of a woman. So back then, of course, iniisip ko lang, tatrabaho lang po ako. Totoo pa rin naman yun, na nagtatrabaho lang naman din talaga ako. But, this is our body. This is the age of really knowing na our bodies, it's very important to our wholeness. Diba? Hindi siya pwedeng iniisip mo lang or emotionally stable ka lang. Lahat, dapat integrated, diba? Pati yung physical. So, syempre, may effect yun sa akin. And through the years, the way that I would address this is like, let's keep working. Let's just do whatever we need to do to survive. Pero deep down inside, namamatay na ako. And I would cover it up with what? Relationships, a whole lot of drinking, partying, ganon. Na I guess hindi rin naman kasi masyado nakikita ng mga ibang tao yun. Dahil buti na nang walang social media nun.
Hindi pa kumakalat masyado.
Baka kung ano-ano na yung na-post ko nun, diba? Baka lasing-lasing ako sa club, ganyan. And I think it's normal for everyone to go through that transition. Tama naman yun. Meron naman talaga tayo, parang lahat tayo pag nagdadalaga, nag-adulting, we really go through such an awkward phase and you kind of like don't know where you're going. But I think mine was like extra because it was a very different kind of life. Diba? Na parang hindi naman ako parang normal na bata na nag-ieskwela lang, tapos sinasabi ng magulang ganito. Ibang-iba yung buhay ko. And I think that kind of like aggravated wherever I was in life.
When you say it was a heavy burden or a heavy load to carry at the age of 12, what do you mean by that? You having to work for the family?
Yes, having to work for the family. It didn't start out like that. It's not as if my parents planned it. It's just that nagkasabay-sabay na like my dad's business went down after the Mount Pinatubo erupted because we were in the fishery, ganyan. And then I started helping the family and it became a thing until I was like in my 20s na, sige, since I'm the one who earns a lot, I get to support the entire family. And it was okay. I mean, like, I don't take it against my mother or my family. Ganun talaga tayo mga Pilipino, di ba? Pero kasi siguro yung na-overlook lang dyan ay, bata pa ako Hindi rin naman ako as if na-walk through na, alam mo, dapat hindi mo kinakarga yung ganyan kabigat na bagay, ha? Yung parang, if only, I guess, somebody just sat down and explained to me that this is what's really happening, that it could have, probably been better. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, like, I think, ako, as I've gone through a lot of therapies, because I would go to a lot of, like, mga counseling, ganyan, because of my issues, it really points back to that, na I was a child, but I already had to act and think and carry problems like an adult.
So, nung pumasok ka sa showbiz, was it already at the point na you had to help your family? Or at first, talaga gusto mo lang mag-audition at gusto mo maging artista?
Oo, ano lang yun. Katuwaan. I was in ABS-CBN kasi kasama ko yung sister ko and yung brother-in-law ko. My brother-in-law, hindi ko alam kung kilala mo pa yung The Talks. Yan, yung
yes.
singing group.
Singing group.
The Talks, kasabayan ng The Company, ganyan. My brother-in-law used to sing for that group. So they were in ABS-CBN. And because I would always tag along, nakita ko ng mga ibang taga-ABS-CBN, si Tita Winnie, na asawa rin niya yung sa TikTok. Sabi niya, gusto mo ba mag-audition? What if you go and see Mr. M? Parang ganun lang nag-start. Sabi ko, hindi siya sure. Pa lang ako. Parang ako, sure naman, ganyan. Makanta-kanta rin ako nung bata ako. So, when I went to see him, he just asked me, can you do anything? And I said, maybe I can sing. So, I sang in front of him. And then when I started singing, parang nakatingin lang siya. Tapos after nun, okay, she's okay with me. Show her to Mariol. Parang gano'n. So, ganun lang. And then, they asked me to speak a few lines on TV. On like one of the parang mga ang TV skits, ganyan. And then, after that part, ayun na, tuloy-tuloy na. Parang sinabi lang sa akin na balik daw ako every Saturday. Parang ganun lang naman siya nag-start. So, hindi siya talaga trabaho. Kaya lang, it just so happened na nagkasabay-sabay yung events ng buhay. Na, it's lucrative. I mean, I'm not naman like the highest earner in our industry, but it is a whole lot more than what a normal person would make. So, parang engot ka na lang kung hindi mo yon i-pursue, di ba? And Filipino culture, magtutulungan sa pamilya. Di ba? Sino pa ba naman ang pupuntahan mo pag may problema ka? Di syempre yung pamilya mo na yung tutulong. So, parang ganon. It's a mix of things. Nobody really intended for that to happen, but it happened.
There was that desire na naman to perform and be in front of an audience.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm a performer. I'm not so much of hindi ako artista. Hindi ako yung parang celeb na I like to be famous. That was something I was not prepared for, I guess. I didn't like to be popular. I just wanted to sing. I just wanted to sing. I wanted to be a performer. I was not prepared to be like known all throughout the country.
Were you part of the first batch, the very first batch ng Ang TV?
I wasn't actually, but I came in siguro mga a few months into it. It was very new. And I already knew it na may Ang TV. Tapos, syempre, di ba, nagpe-pick up na siya na parang marami nang may gusto sa kanya. Nung pinakita ako kay Mr. M, they were already running for about a few months. Bago ako nakapasok.
When you started doing the show, napagsabay mo pa yung pag-aaral mo with your showbiz
in
commitments?
the beginning, yes. In the beginning. And then, eventually, I got so tired because alam naman natin kung gaano kahirap yung trabaho ng artista. Akala nila malaki lang yung bayad namin. Pero pag inisip mo, hello, hindi naman po kami nakaka-uwi sa normal na oras at di rin po kami tinatawag ng normal na oras. Alam mo na mahirap na trabaho talaga siya. So, because of that, I think my body wasn't also prepared na nagba-breakdown siya. Nagkaroon ako ng pneumonia twice. That's what I remember.
Oh, okay.
I was hit by pneumonia twice. And that's when my mom kind of like thought na maybe we should just do like a home study program. Kasi if you keep going to school like this, it's not gonna be good for your health. So parang doon kami nag-start na, sige, try na muna natin yung home study program.
So, at least parang you found a way to balance it all out, di ba?
I wouldn't call it balance because parang feeling ko, parang nag-choose ka na rin talaga kung ano yung ipa-prioritize mo. Parang gano'n. And at that time, we all felt like sayang naman. You know how the thinking goes na parang, strike while the iron is hot.
Oo nga.
So parang we saw it as a privilege naman din talaga na it was such a huge favor to actually have that kind of platform. And to this day, I do naman agree na whatever I enjoy today is because I really did something back then also that was sacrificial. I had to sacrifice a normal life in order to just have that kind of life back then. But today, I still enjoyed that. Kasi parang there's so much that I would do today na sobrang dali lang dahil meron na akong foundation of how many years na ba kasi ako may pangalan. Parang gano'n.
Okay.
Yun.
Well, dun sa mga nakasama mo or nakasabay mo sa Ang TV, in touch pa rin ba kayo? May mga nakikita ka pa rin sa kanila?
Nakikita like when we have work, ganyan. Pero, or like, buti na lang may mga Instagram ngayon, no? Di ba nakakapag-reach out ka pa, nakakausap ka pa, ganyan. No one that I would see regularly, but all of them, when we see each other, it's like you share the childhood kasi. Alam mo
nga.
yun, yung parang, ito yung kalaro ko sa playground. Ganon.
Parang yun yung version mo ng mga kapitbahay na kalaro ko sa
Correct.
labas. Ganyan.
Correct. So when I see them, it's like with fondness talaga. Kasi, guys, kayo yung nakakita sa akin nung panahon na hindi ko man lang naiisip mag-asawa pa. Hindi ko nakikitang magkakaanak ako in the future and all that. No.
Now that you have 2 kids, going back to your family now, I know there was a time that you also went through miscarriages before you had, was it in between the 2 kids?
Between, yeah. So I had my firstborn and then I miscarried twice. And then I had my secondborn and then I miscarried again.
Okay. If you don't mind my asking, it's really up to you if you want to answer or not, because I also went through that and it can be very difficult to talk about it. But it was, I think, through time that it got easier for me because I had three also. After I gave birth to my daughter, I had 3 after. So parang mahirap rin somehow to get through that eh. So ikaw ba, what helped you pull through those experiences?
Ay, nako. Magkakaibang bagay. Napakahirap, di ba? I think for every time that it happens to me, it always is naman talaga just God, but in very different ways. Also, it's not as if, like the first time I would just repeat what I did from the first time with the second and the third and I'd be fine. It's like every time is a new struggle. Believe that God is good and that God can take me through. Again, no, the Red Sea. Like I guess, and that's still life, whether it progressed or not. Like every other child in the world, this is a unique experience. It's not as if paulit-ulit nangyayari sa'yo, pareho lang yan. May iba ka talagang proseso for each time eh. So I think, again, I'm very, very glad that I already have God in my life because if not for that, I'd be more broken. And also, I think it helped that I have a good husband who can just support me with a whole lot of prayer and just being around me and all that. So, I think yun lang naman talaga rin yung makakatulong sa'yo. Tsaka yung acknowledge mo lang na mahirap to. Na hindi mo pwedeng i-deny sa sarili mo na mahihirapan ka at masakit siya. Kasi the more you deny, the harder it is to actually heal. Kasi kapag di mo na-address yung sugat, hindi ka rin talaga maghihilom. I think yun talaga yung isa sa mga pinakamalaking nakakatulong sa akin sa ugali ko na I'm very authentic kasi. May problema ka. Hindi ka okay. And it really helps me to be that way. Kasi instead of repressing my emotions, and I think that's what I'm learning also in the past few months na as much as I am authentic, I also have this capacity or propensity to suppress my feelings because I'm always afraid na if I feel too much, baka hindi ko kayanin. So, I think lately, ang itinuturo talaga sa akin ng Diyos, i-feel mo lang. Huwag ka matakot na naramdaman yan lahat. Di ka babagsak, tingnan mo. Parang ganon.
Thank you so much for sharing this. Because I'm sure that we have listeners who might be going through something similar, not the exact same situation, but the same emotions. You sharing with us how you got through those kinds of experiences or situations. Nako, it's such a big help. So, thank you for this.
Nako, you're welcome. Nako, ganyan din naman ako. Parang sinasabi ko nga na, okay, napagdaanan ko na lang din, di gamitin na natin para makatulong sa iba. 'Di ba? Para ano pa yung pain kung hindi naman natin mato-turn into something purposeful.
Kasi not a lot of people are willing to share their experiences eh. Maybe hindi kaya or hindi nila alam paano.
And I also don't naman share until I'm ready. I don't place that kind of like false burden upon me na, basta may nangyari sa'yo, share mo for a greater cause. Kasi hindi rin mabuti yun. Para sa akin talaga, one must respect whatever he or she feels. Hindi pwedeng i-ignore yung, kunwari mo, kami very public in nature yung trabaho namin, di ba? So, dapat share mo lahat. Hindi dapat. Kumbaga, mag-share ka lang ng gusto mong i-share kasi hindi rin naman makabubuti para sa'yo yun. Kung shinare mo na lahat, nag-overshare ka na. Di ba? I do like sharing whatever I go through with other people, but it has to be in a form that makes me feel okay. Yung parang that I've not shared or overshared to the point na feeling ko you took away from me already. So I must first begin with, am I okay? If I'm not okay kasi, tas nagbibigay na ako, kumbaga depleted na nga ako, nagbibigay pa ako, edi wala na, parang walang-wala na matitira sa akin. So, the self first before everybody else.
Ang ganda rin nun, no? Tsaka parang you keep something for yourself and then you can share with others also.
Oo.
Nako, Rica, eto hindi ko kayang palagpasin. Kanina ko pa actually napapansin to. So I have to mention this. Grabe, super glowing ka.
Hindi, makeup lang.
Hindi nga parang hindi. Sabi ko,
kasi Aubrey, sabi ko, may ano ba to? May
video.
Mukha ba to? Kasi, alam mo na, usually, hindi naman kami naliligo sa bahay. Ganyan.
Hindi ba woke up like that?
I woke up like this because I slept like this. Charot.
Yan pala yung sikreto.
Ano ba yung sikreto? Di matulog ka ng ganun. Tingnan mo, woke up like that ka.
Hindi, pero seryoso, parang grabe, super blooming. Hindi, tsaka even sa mga posts mo, and nakikita ko yung mga workout video mo, grabe, ang lakas mo. So, ano ba yon? You developed your own regimen or parang nag-research ka ba? Meron ka bang personal trainer? Paano ba yon?
Ay, nako, nakakatawa yung story niyan kasi nagka-COVID kami. Tapos, after namin magka-COVID, eto kasi ganun pala yun, pagka nagkaka-COVID kayo sa isang bahay, nagiging matagal kasi nagkakahawaan. Diba? So, kaya yung quarantine nyo, umaabot ng 1 buwan kasi lumilipat-lipat yung virus. So, syempre, habang yung virus alive pa sa bahay ninyo, hindi ka pwede lumabas. So, sa sobra naming, parang, alam mo yung, ano ba tawag doon? Yung naiinisa kami na 1 buwan na kaming stuck sa bahay. After nun, na-feel namin yung, kami ng asawa ko, when I say namin, kaming dalawa, na, alam mo, need na natin gumalaw. Doon lang nag-start yon. And then, I started copying this yoga instructor on YouTube. Her name is, Adrian, Yoga with Adrian. So, I just started with that. I said, alam mo, dumaloy lang yung dugo sa katawan ko, okay na ako. So, wala akong plan talaga. It just started with that, na nagkasabay-sabay na napagod na ako sa inactivity. Pangalawa, naisip ko na moving forward, parang hindi yata healthy, na sedentary lang ko. Pangatlo, yung mga anak ko, lumalaki na rin, sobrang energetic. They need their mom to be strong. So yun lang yung parang 3 nasa mind ko na basta maging okay lang yung blood flow ko, okay na ako. And then from that one small step, I ended up with being so energized and so in love with working out.
Okay. Kasi nga parang medyo hardcore yung ibang ginagawa mo eh. Diba?
Yeah, honestly, whenever I see myself today, it's like, wow, okay. Pwede pala talagang mangyari yung mga bagay na sinasabi mong never. Kaya pala, never say never. Yan talaga yung naiisip ko. Kasi I was like the type of person who would say, ayoko mag-rubber shoes, ayoko mag-gym, ganon. As in, sobrang, hindi ako mag-ganon. Kaya now, when I'm like super into fitness, I get so amazed because if you just saw me like 2018, 2019, so far from who I was.
Wow, galing no? May transformation talaga. Never say never. Rica, thank you so much for spending time with us. Before we wrap things up talaga, or as we wrap things up, baka meron ka lang message for all your supporters and all your fans, everybody who's listening to us now.
Well, thank you. I mean, if you're a fan of our, if you're just a stranger and you listen today, thank you. Thank you so much for listening to us. Kahit papano, sana meron naman kayong napulot sa akin. And yeah, Pia, thank you for having me. I pray that you would just continue what you do and just keep on inspiring others also by talking to a lot of different kinds of lives here on your show.
Nako, Rica, thank you so much. You really are such an inspiration. I learned so much from you. Alam mo, parang tinitingnan ko yung recording natin. Haba na pala nung recording natin. Pero parang feeling ko 10 minuto pa lang tayo nagkukwentuhan dito.
Oo, okay, yes.
Diba? Parang 10 minutes pa lang yon. Parang dapat may part 2.
Oo nga, that's right.
Nako, I will look forward to that.
I will see you soon in that part of town.
Yes, I will see you soon. Tapos tanungin kita, ano ba amoy dito? Rica, thank you so much.
Thank you, Pia. Thank you, everyone.
This super surprise was planned by the team of Nikki Del Mundo and Aubrey de los Reyes, edited by Shirley Paghiligan with the wonderful people of GMA News and Public Affairs Digital. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till the next surprise!